I recently got back from KetoCon, which is the nation's largest low carb conference that they have in Austin, Texas every year. It's always such an amazing experience. I love being able to meet everybody in person, see the creators and YouTubers and doctors that I love and get to follow constantly. And really just this year, I spoke on a couple of different panels. I was the MC one day. Like, it's just such a fantastic weekend to connect with people, to learn a lot, and also just to be a part of a community, which I love. While I was there, I also got a Dexa Skin. I got one a year ago, and I'm going to talk to you about my results, why I maybe wouldn't recommend that you get one, and some things that I am changing based on my results. The really cool thing is, and why I wanted to do it, was that last year at KetoCon, I got a Dexa Scan. And then since then, I've had skin removal surgery. So I was very curious to see if that would determine a difference. I've been pretty convinced that excess skin shows up as non-lean tissue. And so the body fat percentage that it gives you when you have a lot of excess skin and tissue, I've always been convinced that it's a little higher. It is a good reality moment for me, so I'm going to talk to you about my results and the changes that I have seen since having my skin removal surgery. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Element. I love that Element is a salt-based electrolyte formula, and it comes in these convenient little packets. So I just pour one in my big water and I can take it with me anywhere. I don't have to worry about hidden sugars or fillers or junk in it because it's literally just sodium, magnesium, and potassium. In the summers, especially in the heat of Arizona, if you're just drinking tons and tons of water, or if I'm having too much caffeine, those things can actually flush out a lot of the electrolytes. And so something like Element is gonna keep me hydrated, especially in the heat. I also love that all of their flavored versions are sweetened with stevia. And so for my family, I don't have to worry about them getting a bunch of extra sugar or hidden carbs. If you want to try all 8 of their flavors and get this sample pack for free, they have a deal going for my subscribers where you can go to this link, which is drinkelement.com/LauraSpath, and you can get this free sample pack with any purchase. Thank you to Element for sponsoring this video. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, a DEXA scan measures fat tissue, lean tissue, your internal visceral fat, all that fat that could build up around your organs, which is the dangerous, unhealthy fat, the most unhealthy of the fats, and then also your bone density. It's pretty popular in the fitness space. I think as you age, it can be an indicator of your bone health, which is important, but also in the fitness world, people want to know about their body fat percentage, and so that's kind of where it ended up getting popular. This is my 3rd one I've had since being on this weight loss journey. I, at one point, was feeling incredible. If you don't know anything about me, I lost 120 pounds doing a meat-only carnivore diet, and I lost that in about a year. When I had gotten to the point that I had lost, I think 50 pounds, I was feeling so awesome about myself and confident and on a roll. And I was like, great, I've lost 50 pounds. I'm going to go get a DEXA scan. And it said I was still 50% body fat. And it was so emotionally defeating. I just was so discouraged that I had felt like I had come so far, and you get this result saying you're still 50% body fat. And it was just really messed with my mind for a long time. This was a few years ago. And so part of it, for that reason, I just think that if you're doing really awesome and you're motivated and you're losing weight and you're feeling really good about yourself, you don't need a number to give you that kind of reality. Keep the momentum going. So I didn't do one again for several years. I got one last year at KetoCon simply because I felt like I was at what was my goal weight, and I wanted to see what the actual body fat percentage was. I also felt like I had a lot of excess skin, and I know that anything that is not considered lean muscle mass or bones is considered fat tissue. And I wanted to see really, in reality, what is showing up as fat and excess skin. Could the DEXA scan tell the difference? And just, it doesn't, right? It's not gonna tell you what you have left is excess skin versus what is excess fat. It just is gonna tell you what amount of lean tissue do you have on your body and bones. And then everything else is kind of categorized as fat. Also, for the sake of context, I had really done no exercise over the last 5 years other than about 6 months where I got like super obsessed with exercise. This is kind of the problem, is I'm just such an obsessive person. And so for like 6 to 9 months, I started going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, doing these body pump classes, which is like an hour-long intense weightlifting class, and got super into it. I was over exercising. I was 20 pounds less than I am now. I was still doing lots of fasting, and I had started having some hormone issues. And so I cut out the exercising. I gained some weight, which was needed at the time. And everything fixed. My hormones resolved. I've been really healthy ever since then. And so because I can't find this balance to incorporate some exercise, the last 3 years, I have done 0 exercise. And so I wanted to do this scan as like a post-surgery to see if it made a difference in the fat percentage that it was sharing, and also to see what my muscle and bone health was being on this carnivore diet for so long. I'm gonna go through my results briefly, mainly because I don't really think that it matters like what all the exact numbers are, and I'm not trying to throw that out there for people to compare it to. I simply wanna talk about like why my numbers are the way that they are. The biggest thing that honestly I was just so excited about is the fact that from KetoCon last year, which was in July, to now, so that's about 9 months apart, I weighed exactly 3 pounds less than I did then. And even cooler, they actually removed about 3 pounds of excess skin from my body during surgeries. But the coolest thing of all of that is the fact that I have been consistent. The fact that my weight has been stable to the pound, basically, for the last 9 months, a year, or now it's been a couple of years, is wild to me. As somebody who has always had dramatic weight fluctuations, I could not be more proud of the fact that I am figuring out how to be more stable with my weight and my health by doing this. Even on a carnivore diet, I was still having large weight fluctuations until I kind of figured out how to make this work for me and be consistent long-term. And I got a lot of videos that show you what I eat and talk about that if you want to check it out. But I'm super proud of the fact that my weight has been the same. Now, that being said, my fat percentage has also been the same, which makes sense because I have done nothing different to lose excess body fat. The Dexa Scan shows that my body fat percentage is in the high 30s. So you're kind of crossing that line into saying that I am obese. And I think that's the part that can be really defeating for a lot of people is I do feel like I'm at a healthy weight for my hormones. When I weighed 20 pounds less than this, that was not a healthy, sustainable weight for me. So just simply looking at the number on the scale, I'm happy with where things are. And I'm not trying to lose more weight. But what this Dexa Scan is showing me is that I do need to build more muscle. And that's gonna be the biggest thing that I'm focusing on moving forward. I'm really proud of the fact that my visceral fat, like I mentioned, all of that internal organ fat is well under a pound, which is very exciting. You really shouldn't have a lot of that visceral fat. I used to have a tremendous amount of visceral fat. My bone density, I'm in the 99th percentile for bone density. So really fantastic bones, which I contribute a lot to the fact that I eat carnivore and I eat so much protein, which is really important. But I will say there is nothing quite so humbling about seeing your body laying there with this blue orb. The blue on this picture is like your fat. I still do have some opportunity to shift that to building more muscle and reducing some of the body fat percentage that I do have. And as much as we are told sometimes that I can just not exercise but eat a ton of protein, my body's not going to grow muscles unless I'm actually exercising. And my trunk or my stomach showed the graph that went from like my body fat percentage on my trunk last year to this year just like literally dropped. And a lot of it is because they removed the excess tissue from my stomach. I'm left with a lot of that excess tissue on my arms and my legs as well. Not enough that I'm gonna have surgery on it, but enough that it is affecting what the percentage on this paper is. And so I'm never gonna get down to the point where I'm 20, 22, 25% body fat, simply because of the fact that I have excess tissue and skin on my arms that will not go away without surgery. I think that's also why understanding that these types of scans, when you have lost a ton of weight, and you have a bunch of excess skin or tissue on your body, may not be the most accurate. And that's why like it's not the most exciting information to have. And I just would hate for somebody to like be feeling awesome, get one of these scans, and then have it throw them off or have them left feeling discouraged. I think it's, you know, a small piece of information. I'm taking the good out of it. And in reality, I am having this moment of saying, yeah, you should be doing some amount of exercise in order to build muscle. The biggest thing for me about beginning to incorporate exercise is I have held off for so long because I don't have the bandwidth in my life to go back to that intense type of exercise that I was doing before. I don't have hours and hours to spend at the gym. Also, it wasn't healthy for me mentally and physically, and it got too extreme. So I'm really trying to set some more realistic goals. That doesn't mean I don't need to do any exercise. And that's been the excuse that I've used for the last few years, is to just not do any at all. I am really just starting with the goal of moving 20 to 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week right now. Hopefully over time, I find, you know, what it is that I enjoy, if that's any part of exercise, what it is that is gonna push me. But right now I know that just doing some squats and lunges and some push-ups and some little baby weights is plenty of exercise for me. I did, you know, a tiny little workout the other day and felt sore the next day. So I know my body is in the baby phases of wanting to build muscle. And that's really my focus. I want to find a way to have this be sustainable for me long term. I feel like I just got my food dialed in. You know, all of that stuff with food wise is second nature to me at this point. This is just the way that I eat. But I have to be able to find a sustainable way to incorporate exercise so that I can build muscle and keep my bones strong as I age. Nothing really groundbreaking here. I'm hoping that I can do a check-in maybe 6 months from now. I'll be able to share like a workout routine. I am nowhere near that yet. If you have YouTube videos or basic workout plans or really simple exercises that you like to do, I would love any advice that you have for me in the comments. I got a lot of great feedback on Instagram. I am simply at this point just trying to incorporate some movement, and then over time hopefully I can come up with some type of routine. I will keep you posted. I will probably get a Dexa scan next year at KetoCon or a year from now and just see what happens if I can work on toning things, building some muscle, and see what difference that makes. I'm not that concerned about the number on the scale. I've already found in the short amount of time that I have been exercising this past week, I've completed 1 week of this little challenge I've given myself, that I'm hungrier. So I know to build muscle, you actually have to eat more, and the scale can do some like wild things with fluctuation. I'm going to be documenting more what I eat videos coming up too. So make sure if you're not subscribed, you do that, and I will keep you posted on everything as we go. Let me know what advice you have for me as I begin this baby workout journey. Thanks, guys.